next question I always get asked is, so if you're going to produce this oil, how are you actually going to be able to sell the oil? So essentially, the production of the oil is where we actually take it to in the position. So the first two things you'll see over here is so we're actually producing the oil from leases. We're putting them in storage facilities on the corner of the leases, and that's as far as we actually take it. So after that, the oil's actually picked up either by truck, or if you're close enough to a pipeline and you've got a big enough field, you'll actually connect it to a pipeline, and it actually goes straight to the refinery plants. So in America right now, there's over 141 refineries. So we've been told that all the oil we produce is actually going to be picked up and consumed by the local refinery. We're probably operating around about 50 to 60% of capacity. Because what you'll find is a lot of refineries in America, they will be piping gas or oil down from Canada, and the refinery will be taking care of all of that. So in the Illinois Basin, the biggest refinery is a company, Country Mark, and they refine round about 80% of all the oil in the basin. But Marathon Oil actually has their own refinery in Illinois, which actually refines about 180,000 barrels a day, and all of that oil actually comes down from Canada. So it's not like we're going to have a problem that's actually going to get any of the oil picked up. So, and the last statement I think is the key one there, is that all the oil that's produced in America right now is essentially consumed in America. So again, we're looking at the strategy of the company. So the first basin we're looking at is the Illinois Basin. So just to give you an idea, so the Illinois Basin covers Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. It's one of the first oil producing basins in America. At its peak, they were producing 91,000 barrels a day, and this was back in 1910. So currently, this basin is actually producing a third of what it actually produced. Now, the main refining companies, the big operators in the basin, still think the basin is probably operating around about 50% of the capacity. So certainly at this point, you could double the capacity of oil produced in that basin. And this is the first basin where we've actually gone to with Ziyen. The second place we're actually looking at, and we're all looking at prospects now, is Oklahoma. The main thing what we're looking to show you is, again, look at the production in these basins back in 1927. Essentially, again, you're looking at double the capacity with less of the technology. And the third basin that we would look to go into after this would be Wyoming. And again, you're looking at capacity of around about 50% of when they were producing the highest. Now, they did think they produced higher than that, it's just the records were showing back to 1978. So essentially what you're looking at here is that all the oil back in 1910, 1927 and 1978, all that production of oil in America was consumed in America. You weren't importing oil at that point from places like Saudi Arabia and Canada. So if America is going to become an energy independent state, then essentially what it needs to do is it needs to increase the production where they've actually been producing oil in the past.